Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
And it's a very sick four ends, the fiancé.
Yeah, not sick as in like wicked, but sick as in like poorly.
Yeah. I still have the cold, guys, from last week. But like the sneezing has gone. It's just coughing and like being like very like bunged up. And I have a headache.
Oh, I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah,
But you're on the other side of the hill.
Yeah, I guess. I hope so. Let's hope.
I hope so. Did you get night nurse like I suggested?
No.
The liquid.
I'm past the need of night nurse now.
Listen, night nurse will change your life. Do you know what I used to do with night nurse? Like if I could feel a little tickle in the throat, right? Bang a young night nurse, couple shots of that, and I wouldn't get sick. Or I wouldn't get as sick.
This bitch drinking lean, talking about...
Yeah, no, you don't mix it with Sprite. You just have it. You have it no chaser.
No chase.
So today, guys, I am drinking, of course, because one of us cares about the brand of this podcast. I am drinking...
I'm so sorry.
I'm drinking port.
Oh,
wine,
wow.
Which is why there's only a little bit in there, because you know port will really...
Did I send you? Did you buy the port that I sent you?
No, you never sent it to me. Oh, you did send it to me. No, I've not bought that yet. Oh, I should do that.
I drank an amazing port in Nigeria, actually. It was so rich. I didn't take a picture.
Well, thank you for nothing.
Yeah, I didn't take a picture, soz. But it was very rich and delicious, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad you had that experience and were unable to share it with the rest of us.
I need to actually go back to drinking, but actually this is not the time. If I go back to drinking, I'm just drinking gin and tonics because I am on
you're trying to do it healthy, innit?
Fam, I'm trying to shift this weight for this wedding, so...
How much weight are you trying to lose?
At the very least, like 22 kilograms.
Because what I'm thinking is like, is there a way to do it like, okay, cool. So if you lose like 1 kilogram a month or like 2 kilograms a month for whatever amount, can it work like that? Can you just divide it like that and be like, right, cool, I just need to lose this much by this time?
I've calculated it, but I'm not putting that pressure on myself because there are going to be some months where I lose more. There are going to be some months where I lose less.
True.
And then
that's true.
You've got your hormones and shit like that.
Being bloated, periods, all that shit.
I'm not putting that pressure on myself, but I know what I want to lose. And I saw a picture of me when I thought I was so fat, but I was actually a thick babe. And I've put that as my screensaver because...
Motivation.
I've been there. I can be there. Like when I look back at pictures, and I was like, at this point, I thought I was so fat. I used to think, oh my god, like I'm so overweight. I need to lose weight. And then I look back and I'm like, wait, I was actually just thick. Like I was actually thick. And
literally like thick. Do you know what? I really envy like thick girls. There's this girl on Instagram. I don't know if you follow her. Her name is Simi Moonlight. Have you seen her? Mm-mm. She is, when I say she is thick, like in all the right places, like she's just thick. Mm-hmm. And she just like, her body is like, she doesn't try to be any smaller than she is.
And she just
dresses, she just dresses really well for how she, like, I just look at her and I'm like, rah, sis.
Okay, I'm sorry guys, I have to, BD, take out the sound of me typing. I'm going to go check her Instagram out now. Okay,
honestly, like I follow her. Like there's even one thing that she posted, and I was like, yeah, cool. Now I need to buy it, even though I knew it wasn't gonna look the same on me as it was on her. But it's fine. Do you know what I mean?
I need it.
Breasts not included, but it's fine.
Let me see, because I've been trying to tailor my Instagram to more.
Honestly,
it makes
sense.
Sides. It makes a lot. It makes too much
she's
sense.
bigger. I think she's bigger than you, but
no
like
way.
she's and she looks like healthy, like fit. Do you get what I mean? Like her, like I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, Simi Moonlight is SIMI. Moonlight.
S-I-M.
Have you found it?
Oh, I did 2 M's.
Yeah, just 1 M. She's just a vibe. Like, I follow her and I just look at her stories and stuff all day.
Really? Oh, I found her.
Yeah. She's like a thick babe.
I wonder if she's who I've seen. I've seen this babe before. She's not bigger than me. Is she not? Do you know what? Okay, and this is another reason why I, with my weight loss as well, I've said 22 kg because, like, okay, that's...
Yeah, where did that number come from?
It's an image in my head where I feel like I'll be comfortable. But it's more about when do I feel comfortable looking in the mirror? Because I remember one day girls were tweeting their weight, and this girl tweeted her weight, and she weighed close to what I weigh, not currently, what I used to weigh when I was thick. And this babe, when you see her, you would think this babe is thick. But it's literally just like, if your stomach is small, everyone's going to think you're thick. They're not going to think you're fat. So for me, it's less about...
It's where the fat is distributed. And the thing is that you cannot control that. Do you get what I mean? Like, you cannot just say, okay, cool, I want to be my size but lose my tummy. Like, you can't do that. And a number on a scale, honestly, is really just a number on a scale. Like, how do you feel?
I preed her and preed her so many times.
Listen, I had to follow. I said I have to just follow.
She's such a babe.
Yeah.
She probably is like my weight, but it's just the way her fat is distributed.
And the way she carries herself. Like, you can tell that she loves herself and she loves her body. And like, what? No one can chat shit to you. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Listen, when you say, I'm big and I'm still sexy, what's anybody going to say to you?
What's anybody going to say? And she is, like, come on. I'm telling you, sometimes I just wish, like, if anybody losing weight, like, I saw this TikTok of this girl. Sorry, guys, we'll get to the documentary in a sec. I saw this TikTok of this girl who had a breast reduction. And, like, she basically was trying on tops before and after. It, yeah. And I literally was like, could you not have just donated a little bit to some of us in need? Like, I just don't understand. Like, I just
anybody
don't
got breast? But
anybody get some breast?
My sister was telling me as well, like, back when I was thick and I thought I was fat, she was like, body aesthetics really affect like how you feel about yourself, because back then everybody was skinny, like all this thick,
that was the
BBL,
vibe. It wasn't BBLs and that.
It wasn't the vibe. So I always felt I felt like an elephant then, but now like everybody is thick. Well, not everybody's not thick,
and everyone's trying to be.
Yeah, everyone's trying to be, and being thick is more like aesthetically pleasing. So like if I was the size I was then now, I would be a fucking
you wouldn't feel away. Exactly. Yeah. Like if the culture was as it is now back then, you wouldn't have felt away.
Which is why I'm more comfortable with being that size for my wedding, because nobody's going to look at it and be like, oh, she's fat. It'll just be like, oh,
sometimes
she's healthy.
I feel like people, not everybody is meant to be a skinny babe. Like, no one's meant to be a thick babe. Like, sometimes your body is just your body. Like, just be happy and be healthy and like love the skin that you're in. As cliche as that sounds.
I literally thought it was just like what people say to comfort themselves, but I was watching a documentary and they were literally like, like some people genetically are
big bones,
bigger than others. Literally, it's in your actual DNA. And when I look around my family, my mum's side of the family, nobody is a slim babe. Like the people who are slim
you being my size with your breast and your head. Imagine what that would look like.
Lollipop.
Lollipop, oh, lolly,
that's not the song I was thinking of, but I mean, it's good that you're
yeah, I'm trying to be PG.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, guys, enough of the weight. Also, anyone that listens to me that's like on a weight loss journey, wants like whatever, like holler at your girl. If you live in I'm not going to give like my area, but if you live in like the northwest region and you're looking for someone who...
Of London, she means. She doesn't mean of the UK.
Yeah, not of the UK. So don't come and holler at me from like Newcastle and co. But yeah, like if you live in the northwest London region and you're looking for someone to like exercise with or whatever, holler at me. I'm really trying to get into gym. Like I want to be one of the, like my fiance, he does not feel good if he doesn't exercise like at least every other day, and you feel the difference in everything when he's exercised. Like he is
it everything?
Child, you about to get me in trouble, okay? Trouble. But yeah,
the wine hitting.
But yeah, guys, like holler at me if you want a buddy. I'm signed up to all these gym classes now. I want to be going regularly, and I'm eating like clean, so we can motivate each other.
Yeah, and you can be accountable as well. I think it's good. Like even my sister and I are doing this thing where like I'm trying to like, guys, I'm very inflexible. Like sis can't touch her toes, and I'm trying to like do my stretches and do like get my abs back and stuff, and I'm just trying to be consistent with it and just do it every single day. And in the morning I messaged my sister, like even yesterday she was like she had messaged me sending me her location because she was going for a walk, and then I didn't see it, but I had just finished my workout and I saw her go for her walk, and I was like, oh great, good thing I did my workout, because I would look like her doing her thing and then me not. So it's good to be held accountable, and like whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's fitness purposes, whether you want to lose weight, whatever it is, like having someone that you are accountable to really, really helps. And also not always gym. Like I'm really trying to get back into playing tennis. I used to play tennis. I used to play competitively, and I'm probably trying to find a club that I can do that again.
Yeah, so there's all other forms of exercise. Even like sex. Like ladies, get on top. It's hard work. It's not for him, but it's for you, your core strength, your abs, your weight loss. Like you people don't know. But yeah,
you don't know.
Find exercise you love. Some people like swimming. I actually love swimming, but it's actually long. It's so long, like with your hair and stuff like that. But swimming is good.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So whatever you like, do it. But I actually really like boxing classes, so I'm doing like.
I reckon that'd be really fun. Get all the anger out.
You should come. Oh God, you don't.
Wait, I know. I live on now, innit?
I know. Let's just start the pod, because that's a whole other thing that's gonna get me pissed the fuck off. So, moving swiftly on.
All right, guys. So that was a major detour, but I feel like we've been away for so long that I feel like You should just be happy that we're back.
Yeah.
So the doc that we're doing first of all is called Pray Away, and you guys who listened to the last episode will have known this already because you would have heard the preview.
Mm-hmm.
So the documentary opens up with on-screen text, okay? And the on-screen text says, reparative or conversion therapy is the attempt to change a person's sexual orientation or gender identity by a religious leader, licensed counsellor, or in peer support groups. All major medical and mental health associations have denounced the practice as harmful. And in all fairness, the documentary could have ended there because, like, they really said all that needed to be said, kind of thing, right? But I did enjoy this documentary. It's on Netflix. It recently came out, so it should still be there by the time you are listening to this.
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed it. I've missed a Netflix documentary. It was really well done, and interesting. Yeah, you get the perspective of different people and stuff, and we will get into more now after this break. No, I'm joking. So immediately, once we see that on-screen text, you kind of know, okay, cool, this is about to be some shit because the disclaimer from the very beginning. And I just want to say, like, as a Christian, I don't know how you felt, Florence, but as a Christian, I felt like this documentary was very strange to watch because it's like a lot of the sentiments here I really don't agree with. And they're saying these things as Christians, like as if this is God's word. And like as someone who's also a Christian, it was very much like, sorry, sis, this ain't it.
When I was watching it, I felt like the criticisms I had in my head, or the criticisms I would say out loud to like my family that were around me when I was watching it, these are the things I hear like non-believers say, like atheists or non-Christians, and like that's why it was weird. It was like, whoa, but it
like
wasn't
almost conflicting.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm not Christian anymore. It also wasn't like, oh, I suddenly agree with what they say because I'm a Christian. It was more just like it was just a weird space.
Yeah, it was very much like, I believe that this is wrong and I stand firm in that.
Yeah,
and that doesn't in my opinion.
I also stand firm in the fact that I felt like you lots of fucking quacks, like
right, and so that more than anything, and I felt like this doesn't denounce or this doesn't revoke my belief in God and Christ and stuff. Yeah. But like, I very much think that you people are trying shit. Yeah. And you're just saying it very, very loudly and very, very wrongly. Yeah. And here we are. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm glad I wasn't alone.
No.
So the first person we meet is a very interesting character. His name is Jeffrey Mccall. I know you have thoughts on him already. As he came on screen, I said, I know Florence has thoughts.
Can I just get out like or
get it out. Get it out, sis.
So I want to describe this guy. This guy is like, he looks like he has something in him, like maybe Hispanic or something.
Yeah.
But everything else about him screams Cam from Modern Family. And I'm not just saying this because that's a very well-known gay figure that we see on TV. I'm saying this because that's genuinely, like, it's almost like Cam was created off of this guy's personality. And then he's also Southern as well as Cam. Right. So he's like, hey, y'all, I lived as a transgender and now I'm not. And it's just like...
Right. But do you know who he reminded me of more? That I know you're not going to get the reference, but like all the Drag Race fans, this guy sounds exactly like Eureka. Is big like Eureka, and is also kind of annoying like Eureka. Like Southern...
Is Eureka one of the early seasons?
No, most recent. She's on the most recent All Stars, and she was on, I think, bare seasons. Was it 9? Oh, my sister's going to be so frustrated with me. Season 10... And I think season 9
I can hear her screaming listening to
she
this.
She literally is like, you stupid bitch. I think it was 9 and 10 because she got injured. I think it was 9 and then 10 and now All Stars 6. Okay. I think. I'm so sorry, sis. Forgive. But yeah, so she's basically saying Southern, big, gay, like camp as fuck. But obviously it's not an ex trans, so that's the difference there. But yeah, I do get the Cam energy. But Cam is so lovely that there's something very endearing about Cam.
Yeah.
But not so much about Jeffrey.
But I think the lack of endearment, is that the word? Towards Jeffrey?
It can be.
Is because you know what he's on less than...
Fair.
I feel like if you didn't know what he was on, he's very endearing and charismatic. So that's Cam.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So yeah, we see Jeffrey carrying a sign that says trans to Christ and asking people if they need prayer just on the street. You know them like American strip malls, just like on the street doing all that. Cool. All of this is before we officially meet him. So we just see this random guy sign, hey y'all need some prayer? We can all do with some prayer, and we can all do with some prayer. I'm not even mocking him, but that's basically what he's saying. So we learned a bit about Jeffrey. He said he lived transgender before, but he left it all to follow Christ. He says he slept with loads of men and was wrong, and he left it all. And so we see pictures of him living as a trans woman, but now he's sort of denounced all that, left that all alone, and he follows the Bible.
Don't you think he was a pretty girl?
I thought he was a pretty girl, yeah. I did think he was. And the thing is that, like, obviously we get into all the sentiments and, you know, the topics and stuff later, but if you are trans, right, and you are trans, like, if you're trans, you're trans, do you know what I mean? So it's like to kind of be like, okay, I'm no longer trans is a really big thing. Because was it that you were never trans, or was it that your belief in Christ is such that you now are no longer trans? Because I don't know. Listen,
it's the same as saying, like, okay, yeah.
This is the thing. We get into this, but at this point, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh wow, like you actually lived as a trans person, and I get that, you know, people can have gender confusion or whatever it is they call gender dysphoria, and some people are actually not trans. Maybe they just like to wear women's clothes or whatever. So I'm not trying to put that on him, but it's so crazy how you can be so one way and then go do a complete 180.
Yeah.
Did you see that tweet on Twitter?
Like,
the guy was like,
you're not doing a 360, you're doing a 180. And the sis was like, when I stand up, he was like, sis was like, my life
she said no, my life is a 360, because when I turn around, I'm facing a different direction.
And then he was like, stand up and turn around.
He was like, oh my goodness, the American school system. I don't know. Your school system, your justice system,
everything is trash.
I don't know what to say.
Your religious system, finished.
I don't know what to say. So yeah, Jeffrey is no longer trans. He believes that trans people won't see the kingdom of heaven. And he knows that people can change and their minds can be renewed. And so this is introducing kind of one school of thought. The documentary really aims to show like opposing sides of the argument.
And he also says that like the Holy Spirit can give you new desires.
Right. And so this is where it's so difficult, because as a Christian, I believe in the Holy Spirit, right? Mm-hmm. And so me saying that, like, no, I don't believe the Holy Spirit can give you new desires if you're trans or gay, it's like almost like I'm saying, yeah, the Holy Spirit can't do what the Holy Spirit wants to do. And I'm not saying that. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying that, like, it's because being trans or being gay is so villainized.
Exactly.
That you feel like, okay, the Holy Spirit can remove this from you.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be like, oh, a Holy Spirit can stop me from being black.
Yeah, exactly. And that's...
Do you get what I mean?
And therein lies the point. And it's the villainization of these things that makes people think that, okay, and I think...
God has to fix it.
Yeah, and I think Christians that are that way inclined will always use the Bible to, like, ostracize or castigate things that they are not comfortable with.
Ostracize and castigate.
It's the same thing with, like, tattoos. Like African, like, people will say, oh, like, the Bible says, like, don't mark a body, don't do this, like, don't do that. Like, because it's something that they just aren't comfortable with, rather than, like, oh, because I've got a tattoo, I'm not going to heaven. So, I'm not saying that there's nothing that... Anything that is that like only what does not exist, what God cannot do does not exist. That's what I was trying to say. So what God cannot, so what the Holy Spirit cannot do does not exist. But I don't think, I'm not God, but I can only speak from my own Christian beliefs and interpretations. I don't think it's something that God seeks to change, because he doesn't hate these people, and it's not It's not seen as like...
He's not villainizing it.
Yeah.
You man are villainizing it.
Exactly.
And now you're trying to bring God into it, saying, oh, hey, you know, like, come and change this nigga. He likes men. And God's like, okay.
It's like, why, now, God's like, that Nene gift is like, now why I gotta be dragged?
I'm it.
Literally.
Nene is an icon.
She's
an legend.
Icon.
Nene is the moment.
Say what you want to say about her, but she is a meme that will never die. Like,
never. But so the documentary is kind of like showing that school of thought, and also the opposite sides of the argument, which is being that, like, you can pray the gay or transgenderness out of someone. So there's really only two sides, because either you believe you can or you believe that you can't, right? Either you can pray it away or you can't pray it away. And Jeffrey here believes that you can pray it away, right? So now we meet the leaders of the ex-gay movement, right? And they basically believe that something must have happened in your life to make you gay. And once you kind of resolve those issues, you can stop being gay. We quickly learn, because we see like a montage of a few of them, and we quickly learn that, like, they no longer believe this. Which is interesting, because imagine having been on one side and now you're on the other side. Like, how do you reckon that you used to feel that way? But now we're in Reno, Nevada, where we officially meet Yvette Cantu Schneider. And she basically says she spent 6 years as a quote unquote practicing lesbian. I know you're kind of wondering, that's a really strange phrase, or what is a practicing lesbian? What does that even mean?
That's what I always wonder. Like, I'm not a practicing heterosexual.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what am I practicing?
Oh, don't worry, she'll tell you. So there's a throwback of Yvette explaining exactly what this means.
Practicing lesbian means that I was actually in the lifestyle and not just struggling with the feelings. So I was actually involved in lesbian relationships.
So they do this thing throughout the documentary where they refer to same-sex attraction, and that embracing the femininity within you kind of helps you to not be a lesbian, in the same way that like embracing the manliness within you stops you being gay, which is very, very stupid, but like we get into that later on. That comes up again later. So put a pin in that stupidity for now, okay? So Yvette of today is like, how the fuck did I even believe this? Like, you can tell that she doesn't really feel this way anymore, and she looks back like, this is a major cringe. Like, I can't believe that this was me. And it's different to being like, oh, I used to think this and now I think this, because everything is memorialized, because there is so much footage. There is so much footage, so like you can't even deny that it was you. Like, it was definitely you. Like, literally, like, quote tweet
4K 4K
literally 4K. So Yvette says this little bit about having like 17 of her gay friends die from AIDS during the AIDS crisis, and we hear this speaker basically say that if you were gay and you died from AIDS, then you deserved it. And that's basically what he says.
I believe that God does not judge people, God judges sin. And I do believe that AIDS, generally caused and believed to be caused by homosexual promiscuity, is a violation of God's laws of nature and decency. And as a result, we pay the price when we violate the laws of God.
And this is mad to me, because it's like, this is why people associate AIDS with gay people, and like saying that, like, you know, you're gonna die and stuff like that. And that's why that whole baby thing that happened a few weeks back is very, very frustrating. Frustrating and dangerous, very problematic, because it's like you are perpetuating this myth, this rumor, this like falsehood that people have worked for decades to kind of like eradicate, and like it's not as prevalent as it was back then. And you're coming to bring up your stupid, oh, if you got AIDS, you're gonna die in 2 weeks. Like, shut up. Like, that is not it at all. But anyway, that in that time, that's what was happening. And she was like, look, you're gay, you get AIDS, you die, you deserved it because you shouldn't have been gay. Cycle, which is very ridiculous.
So we never called me a fat Kelly Price.
Oh my God. So we meet Michael Bussey, and like, it's just so interesting to me that his surname is Bussey and he is a gay.
Why? What's Bussey? It sounds familiar.
Bussy is like your butthole.
Oh,
your butt pussy.
I saw that whole thing where people were just finding out what Bussy means.
Yeah, did you see that tweet? And the guy he kept basically, he thought Bussy was penis, and he kept saying having these tweets.
Yeah. And then Tay Diggs read the... Did you see the Tay Diggs one where he was reading... You know those things where they make celebs read tweets?
Yeah.
And then Tay Diggs was like... He read a tweet where someone was like, Tay Diggs is so fine, he still makes my Bussy sing. And then Tay Diggs was like, well, I don't know what a Bussy is, but I hope Bussy's singing well and is hitting those vocals. And it's like, bro.
You should still hope. You should still hope it's singing. But, I mean, it's not spelt that same way as Bussy, but it's pronounced Bussy, and like Michael Bussey. So, I mean, if his name didn't tell him that he was gay, then I don't know what would. So he grew up at a time where being gay was considered an illness and a sin. And he was kind of like, like, I don't want to be this way, because obviously it's bad. And they have support groups for people who don't want to be, you know, alcoholics. They have support groups for people who don't want to be this and that, but they don't have one for people who don't want to be gay. And I can understand and appreciate how useful and helpful support groups can be, but it's just kind of a shame that this support group is basically centered on you hating who you are, rather than trying to help you embrace who you are. Because as an alcoholic, right, you're trying to change my behavior because it's detrimental to me.
But who's and I guess
they...
I was saying, but who's being gay detrimental to?
Right, exactly. But they believe, they're of the belief that being gay is detrimental to me because it's going to land me in hell. So it's like they can equate that to being an alcoholic. Like, it's really, really, really sad.
It's sad,
like,
yeah.
It's so sad. Like,
I wish this support group had been more for gay people who wanted to be Christians, forming their own, like, church. I don't know if I'm articulating that properly. Like,
no, I agree.
One decision, it could have gone a different way.
Because I feel like if the support group was more about like embracing who you are, right? So you feel this way, you are gay, like reconciling that with the fact that you're also a Christian, and knowing that, okay, cool, the two should be able to coincide or coexist or whatever. Then it's like, cool. But what they're saying is like, look, you feel that you're gay, you're a Christian, you cannot be gay. So hate yourself, hate the gay, and pray that shit away so that you can go on to be a Christian. Yeah. It's like, this is the price to pay in order to follow Christ. And it's like, I'm so sorry. There's no Jesus of mine that was like,
I'm sure Jesus said, come as you are. I'm so sure.
As you are.
He said, come as you are. If you want to wear your Brett sandalette, wear your Brett sandalette.
That's it. If it's Crocs you like, wear Crocs. It's fine. We'll say come.
Fam. Did you not see Brett sandalette? Have you watched yesterday's episode of
Brett's what?
Sandal.
Yeah, that whole fit was a bit wild. I'm not gonna lie. That whole fit was a bit wild, but still, I still like him, and I'm sad that. I mean, I'm really not sad that he left, but like, I'm sad that Priya is with him. Did you see Matt's tweet? Matt, so Matt, the one that she picked Brett over Matt. The one that was with Kaz before. Basically, he had like, it was a TikTok, and he was showing like Priya being like, oh, he's so boring, blah, blah, blah. And then he turned the camera to his face and was just like shaking his head like, bruh.
I don't blame him. Like, she's so...
He dodged the bullet, fam. She's dead.
Anyways, yeah.
So Michael Bussey, I feel like I'm going to have to say Bussey. Michael Bussey tells us about forming Exodus in 1976, and Exodus was like a conference for all these gay, Lord, the wine hitting, all these gay support groups. So now we meet probably my favorite person of this whole documentary, John Polk.
Child, he's given me all types of what's that guy, George Michael? I'm loving it. I'm here for it.
Listen,
I just want to be friends with him, you know.
John of today is a vibe. And did you see his glow up?
Fam,
listen, when you love yourself, yeah, when you accept who you are, beard,
fam,
I said,
I want to be
John. I couldn't. My mind couldn't believe that they were the same person.
Fam, I want to be mates with him. Look at the glow up when he got rid of that hag.
When you love yourself, when you embrace the gay.
Fam, I said when he got rid of the hag he was married to also.
Bruh,
she is the worst
can really
vibes.
Bring you down. Oh, she's terrible
the
vibes.
Worst vibes, yeah.
She's terrible vibes, and she hates herself. So our introduction to John is this clip of him being interviewed, and he's basically saying he's an ex-gay. He no longer fantasizes about men, all that jazz. Like, you might remember it from the trailer at the end of the last episode. It was him that was talking. And I'm like, even at the time, he appears very gay to me. And he's denying it at that point. So it's like, I can't tell you who you are. Like, if you're gay, if you tell me you're not gay, you're not gay. Who am I to say? Do you know what I mean? So we meet John in the present. And as I mentioned, he has glowed up 100%. Like, he is 100% buffer than he was before. Maybe even 200% buffer than he was before. He has a little facial hair, whatever. And he is basically telling us that he was, back then, the most famous ex-gay person in the world. And he was the face of the movement, right? Especially because he was married to an ex-lesbian. But we're gonna, you know, put a pin in that. I hope you guys have pins left. Put a pin in that because we're gonna get back to that. But she's terrible vibes. But
can I just say, do you think she was smushing like coochies like on the side, bumping coochies?
Maybe. I mean, I think she's definitely still a lesbian. But the thing is, maybe she wasn't a lesbian ever. Maybe she was actually bisexual. And so for her, it was okay for her to be with him because that was at least fulfilling her. Like, she's also attracted to men and she's married to a man. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot easier for you to say, yeah, I'm not a lesbian, if all you have to do is just not be with one gender when you are also attracted to another one.
Yeah.
So it could be that more than anything. But yeah, I don't know. Like, she was just terrible vibes.
I wonder how people who are full on gay have sex with a woman.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like, especially because of like, I do wonder how.
And especially as men, because it's like you have to really participate in the session.
Yeah, and I always hear like people who are gay talk about like the opposite genders genitalia like with disgust.
Yeah. Like
when I've heard lesbians like say like penises are absolutely disgusting, like they're repulsive.
Yeah, I guess because they're not attracted.
Yeah, and I've had like gay guys say like, vaginas are flipping scary and all that.
It mentioned me chatting about vaginas when they came out of one, or they were born from one.
Especially like Jamie from not Jamie. Is it Jamie? Which one is gay from My Dad Wrote a Porno? He's always like flustered. James. Whenever they talk about vaginas.
James. Yeah, so we get into Exodus a lot from this point on, right? So one of the talking heads, I think it's Michael Bussey, Bessie, kind of tells us what they tell the gay people in the conversion therapy.
In conversion therapy, the explanation for why you were gay is that you must have been traumatized as a child, either by direct abuse, sexual molestation, physical abuse by parents, or by inadequate or toxic parenting.
So they say to them, you must have had bad parenting or been abused, and that resolving parenting issues will mean your innate heterosexuality will be restored. We see a lot of footage from these workshops. Like, there's so much footage, and it's really sad, kind of disturbing. And I also think that, like, we see loads of people in all this footage who aren't actually part of the documentary. And I just think to myself, imagine you're just chilling on this fine Sunday. You used to be an ex-gay, so now you're an ex-gay. You're back in your gayness, and you see yourself just in this.
I'm guessing they would have all given consent.
I suppose, yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, because there weren't any blurred faces.
Because what if you were still an ex-gay, pretending and living your sham, and then next thing your face is all over this place, and your current wife or husband did not know that you were an ex-gay?
Well, it sounds like none of my business. So Michael Bussey leaves Exodus in 1979 because he's kind of like, look, no one here is qualified to do what they're doing. No one's qualified to deal with these people who actually have mental health issues caused by them wanting to change. And he's like, he knows that deep down he hasn't changed, right? And he's not helping people change. And it's like, how can I pretend that I've changed? But I haven't. And my helping you is kind of set on the fact that you believe I've changed and I've not changed. So what are we doing here? Like, I don't want to be fake. Like, let's stop being fake kind of vibes. So next we meet Judy Rogers, who is also a babe, right? It goes, John Polk is my fave in this documentary, and then after that it's probably Julie.
Yeah, same.
And we see Judy with her partner. She's doing up engagement shoots for their wedding website. And this just made me think, are you doing an engagement shoot for your wedding?
Girl, I go back and forth, but I'm leaning definitely more towards the no.
How come?
No offense to anybody who's done them, but I just...
Yeah, why would it be offense? It's up to you. It's your preference.
Because I'm about to say what I'm about to say.
Oh, shit, go ahead.
I'm yet to see engagement shoots that aren't corny. It doesn't matter how they're done. It doesn't matter what you wear. Personally, to me, I just find them corny.
I think the premise of engagement shoots, pregnancy shoots, all them life things is corny, and it's only corny because it's shared with the world. Because for you to take a picture and want to remember the fact that you got engaged is absolutely fine. Like, there's nothing corny about that, yeah. But it's the fact that you're looking at, like, when you look at say you did do an engagement shoot, if you were looking at your pictures, you would not feel this is corny. But I might, okay, maybe not me because I'm close to you, but some random person. Corny. Yeah, okay, so I might look at...
Because sometimes why it's corny to me. It's corny to me because it's not in the moment. It's not anything. You just got up, got dressed, and you're taking all these stupid poses and pictures and this and that. And it's like, why? Maternity shoots... I actually feel like the maternity shoots where the guys aren't in it, they're fine because I always view them as...
So it's just fuck men then, is it? It's just fuck men?
No. I always view them as you documenting like your journey, your changing body, whatever, yeah.
They're corny to me too.
But it depends on how they're done. Like,
no, they're corny. The premise of somebody coming out of
water or they're in a forest and shit. Yeah, that shit's corny.
Or like Phaedra's one with the pickle. Listen, I feel like I feel like they're corny regardless. Like, it's like what you're saying. Either way, like, it's the same concept. Like, you guys met up and you got your belly out and you were like, "Oh, come and take pictures of me." That is fucking corny. If you were just in your house taking progress pics of your belly, or your husband's just there taking a picture and it happened to be candid kind of vibes, then that's not corny. But a maternity shoot, engagement shoot, all these shoots, even when they do family photos, they're all fucking corny to me.
Okay, not family photos. You need to chill out.
They're corny. But I'm not saying they shouldn't be done, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they're actually corny. Just sometimes be corny.
No, I'm not doing it. And I just I don't see the need for it.
It doesn't really sound like you went back and forth. You literally went forth.
No. I have been, because my mum's like, oh, you have to do it. You have to use the picture for this. And I'm like, no, I'd rather just our initials
use
on
the
stage.
picture?
Yeah, people do that. Like, they have their, like, some people project it. They have it there. Currently I'm at a no, so I'm not doing engagement shoots.
Okay, well, we'll see if that changes. But yeah, theirs was also kind of awkward. The pregnancy shoot, the engagement shoot, it was kind of awkward. But it was cute. Do you know what I mean? It was cute that, considering her story, it was cute.
Yeah.
And I know what her story was because I watched it and then I watched it again and did my notes. So we learned more about Julie. She grew up in the church as a conservative Christian. So she basically was taught being gay is wrong, it's disgusting, it's bad, blah, 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 hate who you are, blah, 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 you're going to go to hell. Okay? Surprise, surprise, Judy is gay, right? She comes out to her mum when she is 16. And what does mum do? Mum takes her to this guy called Ricky Chalette. And sis doesn't want to go because she's kind of like, how is this man going to stop me from being gay? Like, what's the actual point of any of this? And so Julie explains what Ricky explains to her. Wasn't that guy from the college scandal called Ricky as well? The bad guy, the coach.
I believe so.
Anyway, Ricky's bad vibes. Bad vibes name. Apologies to any Ricky's out there. It's not my fault, you're bad vibes. So Ricky explains to her about why people are gay. We briefly touched on this before, but he basically says...
Essentially, like, a boy becomes gay because he has a bad relationship with his dad. And there's this sense of mystery toward the same-sex parent. And when they get to adolescence, that becomes sexualized.
So naturally, Julie is kind of like, okay, cool story, bro. But like, what if you and your same-sex parent are... cool, like what if you're fine, what if there's no problems? And he's like, oh well, then we have a wild card, and you must have been sexually abused. And so Julie's like, okay, nice try, but what if you haven't been sexually abused? And he's like, okay, well in that case then you've probably forgotten about the abuse, which is like, oh right, okay, so you really are just forcing this narrative.
Abuse,
right, bearing in mind Julie is 16 at this time. So I get when you're 16, obviously you're not a child, but you are still a child. And she kind of is like, okay, do you know what? Maybe this guy's right. Like maybe something has happened in my life and I just don't remember it. I blocked it out.
And this is why like they hold on to stuff like this, because for them, they can't fathom that like this is just how these people were created, which would then mean that God made them this way. By the God that created them. God makes no mistakes. But for them, they have to find a reason because they want to associate it with unnatural behaviour.
Exactly. And also negative behaviours. So it's like, you must know that this is not of God. This is a bad thing. And that's why you're like this. So let's get rid of that so you can be good, which is really fucked. Nonetheless, Ricky becomes her mentor. So here we are. Now we're back with Jeffrey. If you remember, Jeffrey is the ex-trans woman. And we see him doing like speaking engagements where he's sharing his story. I feel like these speaking engagements, like just because somebody invites you to speak, it really doesn't mean that you are any kind of thing.
Fam, anybody can talk. Like, people just be talking.
Anybody can stand on a stage and chat shit.
Talking and saying shit.
Literally, look at us on this podcast chatting shit every week, and you guys are here. Anybody can say anything.
Talking and saying shit.
Just talking, it's just saying shit. So this is the other side of the coin in this documentary. Basically, people being like, yeah, it worked for me. I used to be gay. I used to be trans, blah, 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 blah. Whereas Julie and other people are like, yeah, it's bullshit. It doesn't really work. So during this talk...
I wonder who's going to tell Jeffrey that he's still gay.
Yeah, I don't know.
It ain't going to be me, but I wonder who's going to tell him.
I hope somebody does. Not me, though, but somebody.
You'll be safe.
Be safe, though. Jeffrey makes some points that I think is important to address. So he says...
When I grew up in high school, it would have been the early 2000s, everything was shifting in the nation with homosexuality. Will and Grace was the biggest show. Every high school movie had the gay best friend, and that's what I put my identity in, being homosexual. That was my identity. And in the LGBTQ community, that is their identity. I'm gay, I'm lesbian, I'm transgender. Why does it have such a powerful stronghold over them? Because it's the enemy trying to make them think that's their identity. No other group says things like that.
And then he says it's because the enemy is trying to make them think it's their identity. No other group says things like that. And I just think this is a really strange thing to say.
But I've heard that before a lot. Like, it's like, why are you pushing the gay agenda? Like, do I push my heterosexual agenda? But, like, you're so fucking stupid because heterosexual agenda is all that's pushed day in, day out, everywhere.
This is the thing. But then even more so, like, sticking to, like, the identity point is that, like, your sexuality is a part of your identity.
Yeah.
Like, as is your race, as are your hobbies, like, as are a plethora of things that make you who you are. And then when you add the fact that you're a minority of sort, yeah, then it's more obviously a part of your identity. And it's more important that it's a part of your identity. Like, for me, I'm a black woman, right? I'm always going to be like, I'm a black woman because in this country, being black is a minority and being a woman, you know, ain't always had the best times, right? Being heterosexual is not frowned upon. It's not persecuted. It's not treated in the same way. So I'm not going to be out here like, yeah, I'm a straight black woman because straight provides me a form of privilege. So there's no need for me to go on about the fact that I'm straight.
And the expectation also is that you're straight. everyone you meet, we expect that you're straight, so we don't need to announce it because that's already what we think.
Exactly. And it's fine. It's accepted to be that way. It's like, I'm sure that white people in society don't go around feeling like, oh my God, I feel really white. You don't feel white because it's normal to be white. Like, that's fine. Normal. No one's looking at you some way. Do you get what I mean? But
literally,
like, there's certain, if you're a minority, you might be in a certain space and feel very black. Like, I am black. I feel very black here. And like, I know that that's part of my identity. If people are looking around, they'll be like, oh, there's this girl with blonde hair, this girl, the black girl, there's this. Do you know what I mean? So like, I understand that like your sexual identity doesn't necessarily like show all the time, but like it's a part of who you are. Like, how could you say that like, you know, they keep going on about it, no other group does that? Every other group or marginalized group does that. Yeah. Because it's part of who they are. So what are you even talking about? Jeffrey, it's like, I want to help you, but like, literally don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Like,
yeah, no, he's finished. His own is finished.
Yeah, finished, man.
It's when they catch. Anyways, let me keep my mouth shut.
Anyway, we'll get there. So Julie was in this church. The whole Ricky Gillette, they have this church called Living Hope, and she's there from ages 16 to 25, which are really important years in your life. Like really formative. Maybe not formative in the sense of like, you know, being a child, but you really learn a lot about who you are between those ages. I know that I did. Me at 16, between me to 25, like completely different. Well, not completely different. Like, I've always been a real bitch, give a fuck about a nigga, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like you really learn about who you are. Why rolling your eyes? Am I not a real ass bitch, give a fuck about a nigga?
I mean,
big Birkin bags hold 5-6 figures.
Yeah, I mean, but you may not have
stripes on my ass, so they call this pussy Tigger.
Okay.
Fucking on a scamming ass, rich ass nigga. So you really get the ass in the picture. Why is she looking at me like that? Proper hater.
Okay, see,
proper hater vibes. So what was I even saying? Yeah, so basically she has mental Ricky, that guy, Ricky Gillette, yeah, and his job is to stop her being gay, right? Cool. So they're not allowed to be friends with other people. You had one job. He failed because this is married. So so they can't be friends with other people in the group. Like, they're not allowed to know things about them, like even their last names, because they don't want them to meet up and have sex. Because it's all confirmed here that we're gay. So like, hey, what are you saying?
This is a very good pickup spot. If I was gay, I would go to these conversion things just for the find people to fuck. Like, literally. Yeah,
literally find the love of my life.
Fam. Simples.
The most stupid thing about this is that like she had to quit softball so that she wouldn't be a lesbian. And I was like, I know, you know, stereotype, but also it's very, very stupid. Like, you playing softball does not a lesbian make.
Yeah.
But hey ho. So Exodus is the large conference. They have the workshops. They get rid of the gay. Okay. One of the voiceovers says something about women becoming lesbians because they've been hurt by men. And I know this to be false because every woman I know, myself included, has been hurt by a man in some way, shape, or form. If it was like that,
I would be the biggest lesbian going.
I would be the gayest of gays. I would be.
What's that thing Michael said? I would be waving the rainbow flag. I would be part of the gay pride parade. Like,
listen,
everything he said in that speech after he kissed Oscar, that would be me.
After he assaulted Oscar.
Fam.
Yeah, no, this is what I'm saying is like, and this is how I know that being gay is not a choice, because I fervently believe,
I would never
that I would have chosen to be a lesbian.
Man.
I would have.
Yeah. Men don't slap. They're the ghetto. I would 100% choose to be a lesbian. I would never choose
if I had the choice. Definitely. That's how I know it's not a choice.
Often I think about life would be so much easier if I was gay. Well, I mean, let me not be reductive. It would be easier from a romantic
standpoint.
Yeah, but not like life. But yeah, that's
not in a societal standpoint. Yeah. I might not be able to hold your hand in public, but like, at least I know when we get home, I'm having a good time.
Exactly.
Right. So Julie goes to this conference every year from when she's 17, and she says this documentary just gets more and more ridiculous as time goes by, and not because the documentary is ridiculous, but because of the content of the documentary. So at the conference, they taught the girls how to put on makeup and do their nails, and then the guys would play football and all that stuff, because makeup and football makes you straight. No, that's actually wrong what I'm saying. They didn't do it because makeup and football makes you straight. They said they did it because it gives you alternative ways to interact with the same sex that shifts your attractions.
Yeah,
and these guys, they just say words, like they just put words together, no rhyme, no reason, and they just say it, and then they say it with such vim that people are like, oh my god, yeah, you've got a point. What does that even mean?
What does
to shift same-sex attractions?
Like,
football?
We're gonna go paint our nails together, and suddenly, like, I don't want to bump coochies.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Now you're even buffer to me because you got makeup on.
Exactly. Now I really want to like.
Right. Now I want to bump all the coochies.
Twice.
Honestly. Twice. So Julie makes a really good point, and she kind of says that when the leaders would go to bed, they would all chill. Like, they'd all chill, laugh, talk to each other, and they could be their true queer selves, right? And I just feel like as fucked as a space that was, yeah, at least in the times when those leaders weren't there, it would feel like such a safe space. Like, we're all gay, we all feel the same way. Like, even though we don't want to be gay, or we've been convinced that we shouldn't want to be gay, we have this in common.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like safe for us to feel this way, because I'm sure the people who are doing up leadership are like either not gay or are like heavily denouncing they're gay and trying to act as though they don't even have temptations to be gay.
Having orgies after like they do lights out.
Bruh, who knows? Who knows? So John is back. John Polk, our fave. He's the ex-gay that married the ex-lesbian, the one that had the glow up. Yeah. Oh, they also had children. They had 2 sons, by the way. They did bare interviews and stuff like that. And John of today makes a really good point where he says,
in some ways, I didn't see myself as a gay person anymore, because to me, to be gay would mean I was having sex, I was going to gay bars, I associated with gay people. I based being gay on behavior. It was the behavior that made you gay, not your feelings. But my feelings were very much gay.
And this makes so much sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why even when people are like in prison and stuff and they like have sex with guys and stuff, like, it's not about them being gay. I don't think it's always about them being gay.
No, it's not.
Like, it's a behavior, not a feeling. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I want my dick sucked, so here's suck my dick. Or I want power over you, disrespect.
Yeah.
Right. So literally, it's not so much the behavior as it is the feelings. And he also admits that him lying on TV about no longer being gay was harmful to the people struggling with gay feelings, because it made it seem as though, like, do you know what? It's actually you that's the problem. Because see me, I was gay and I'm
through
fine.
The Holy Spirit.
As for you,
I am delivered.
I am delivered.
He said, I did a Santana, I got to a certain age, that shit was childish, and I cut that shit out.
He said, I'm going to get to 50 and I'm cutting it out.
I'm cutting it out. It's childish to be gay. That's what... I'm sorry, but forget it. I don't need just any, like, gay friend. I need Santana. Like, Santana, Manellan for the Fiona.
Melanin, bitch.
Melanie Fiona, bitch. No, I need that.
He's very, very funny. And I feel like even if he does decide that he's going to be straight at 50, he will be equally as funny as a straight man.
I'd marry him, for goodness sake. You'd be laughing every day. You might not have sex, but it'll be funny.
But you would laugh, would. So yeah, I mean, I think that I'm glad that John was able to acknowledge the detrimental effect he had on his community. Although now it's like looking back, okay, cool, people still suffered as a result. So like, what are we going to do? But yeah.
So like, we're back with Jeffrey now. And Jeffrey's running like this Facebook page for people who are trying to be ex-gays and coming out and doing, quote unquote, the work of the Lord. And he gets this call from this mum. And she's all crying on the phone saying that okay, I don't want to misgender, so I'm going to say it in, like, the way she... Yeah. So she basically says...
you're going to basically just quote what the mum said as opposed to, like, misgender,
Yeah. So the mum says her son came out as trans and she needs to help bring him back like Jeffrey. And basically, during this whole conversation, this mum is, like, misgendering her daughter.
Yeah.
And saying it's a boy and saying, I'm never going to agree to, like, call... my son, a girl, and all of that. And Jeffrey says that what she's doing, i.e. what we consider misgendering, is good. It's the work of the spirit, and it's and it's an evil spirit that's in the girl that's telling the girl to, like, do this and make her mum, like, call her like a girl. And that basically what the mum is doing is, like, he compared it to seeing your toddler in the middle of the road and a car is about to hit the toddler and you grab them from the road, that she's grabbing this kid from the road and doing the right thing, but the kid, and she's showing the kid a lot of love, but the kid only wants love in the way they want to receive love, which is evil.
Which is just like, your child is basically saying that I am a girl, could you please refer to me as such, right? And you've made this whole thing, like, you've not even really addressed the issue. Like, it's literally just kind of like, one like and I'll do it, then you like it yourself. Like she called him because him as in Jeffrey, because she knew what Jeffrey's thoughts would be and she just wanted to be co-signed.
Yeah.
You're not asking for counsel. You don't really care about what your child wants or needs. Like your child is not an evil spirit trying to be like, oh fuck you mum, I want to do this for bands. Like your child is actually asking something of you, and I'm not saying that like it doesn't take adjustment. Like I'm sure you've had when you birthed your child, you birthed a son, and it's been however many years of having a son. Like I'm not saying you wake up one day and you're like, oh hey daughter, blah blah blah, or she's like, if her call had been like, look, like my daughter has come out as trans and I'm having difficulty, you know, with
adjusting
the right gender or being there in the right way, like how am I able to support? But she literally was calling to be like, look, this boy is a boy and I don't know what he's doing, like tell me I'm right.
Yeah, tell me I'm right. And
it was such a stupid scene.
And
like,
even if
what
you
was the point of
remove
that?
all of this stuff about like, you know, misgendering and everything, the way I always see this stuff is, even if you're even if right now currently you're living a homophobic, transphobic life, biphobic, whatever, if your kid comes out and says to you, this is what I am, surely you love your kid. You want your kid to be happy. Why would
surely you love them more than you hate the gays
my point.
Or the transes.
That's always my point. Like, surely, like, for me, genuinely, I don't care if my kid is gay, trans. The only thing that I don't know if bothers me is the right word, but the only thing that I would be worried about is more about how society, especially being from an African background, would treat them. And I wouldn't want them to feel ostracized, because as much as I will love them and not care.
Yeah, they'll be safe in my home, but like
when they go out, So obviously I wouldn't want them to go through that. But in terms of how I personally feel, I genuinely don't care. All I care is that my kids are happy, they're healthy.
Right.
None of them are nonces. Like, none of them is a terrorist. Just live a happy, healthy, contributing life to society. And none of them, like, does any dumb shit. I don't care about, like, any other shit. Like, and none of them fucking
and that's what I'm saying.
Vegetables
I'm like,
and calls it meat.
If your hate for a group of people, supersedes your love for your child, then you are a fucked individual.
And then you have the problem, not...
Yeah, you. The problem is with you. Like, it's so crazy to me. It's like, even if you think that, I don't understand, you know, being trans, I don't really get that. Like, your child... My parents don't understand what I do, you know? But they will learn because they love me.
I just learned today that my mum doesn't understand my job. I was trying to explain to her... I was complaining about something to do with, like, basically my job. I don't want to go into detail before, like, I think some of my colleagues listen, I don't know, whatever. But I was complaining about something that I was doing at work that I felt like shouldn't be part of my role. And then my mum was like, oh, but aren't you all just... And I was like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, this function of, like, we're also under the same umbrella, but this function does this. She was like, well, when I just joined, I just knew that. And I was like, yeah, you don't have a fucking clue what I do day in, day out.
To be honest, I'm guilty. Like, any of my friends that's not in healthcare, I don't get it. And to be honest, like, I'm sure people they just hear eyes and they're like, oh yeah, eyes. They don't really understand, like, what the day-to-days are or what it is I'm looking for doing. Whereas with my friends, like, when they're consulting assets, this or whatever, I'm just like, okay, you go to an office and then you come home, because I do not understand. I have zero idea. But yeah, Jeffrey, like, Jeffrey...
But you know what? I definitely get vibes from Jeffrey that he within himself knows that he's gay. I don't know if he feels trans still, but I feel like he knows he's at least gay. And he... is doing all of this to convince himself and others that he's not. I don't believe that he genuinely believes he's deliberate.
Yeah. I also do think that, like, like you said, he feels that he's gay. He knows that he's gay. And being a trans woman means that, like, okay, he's not gay anymore, like, by default. But then he's trans, and it's a lot harder to hide the transness than it is to hide the gayness. But that's what I'm saying, like, to come out as trans, like, not just to say I feel like I'm trans, right? To come out and live your life as a trans woman is a massive, courageous step to take. Because I'll be sitting at work and I'm like, oh my God, imagine if I was trans and I have to make the transition and I'm seeing patients 1 month and then the next month I look a bit different or I sound different or whatever. Like, it's not easy to live your normal life, your day-to-day life, having a job, seeing people, interacting with society, even if they're strangers, and, like, be trans. It's not easy.
No.
So for him to have done that, it's like, come on, like... I don't know, man. I mean, he must definitely be conflicted within himself, and, like, that's his own, like,
and
issues
you know,
to deal with
also, I want to highlight just about, like, LGBT support groups and for people who come out, because part of the reason why Jeffrey fell into this church was because when he was trans or transitioning, he started doing like drugs, and he was like I think a sex worker. I think that was what he alluded to and stuff like that. And if there was appropriate support for people who came out, like maybe people who not only came out but were ostracized by their family, because it's one thing you coming out, your family supports you and loves you, and you have everything is fine, cool. But if there was proper support, Jeffrey wouldn't have fallen into a situation where, and this is not to say that he couldn't have chosen like or sought solace in church. Obviously, church is a sanctuary. That's where you should go to find peace and be your authentic self, knowing that God loves you. But I guess when you're so desperate for like safety and love and stuff like that, you fall into like, because they're bad churches like everything else, you go to the wrong place. And if Jeffrey had proper support, he wouldn't have found himself in that situation, and he probably would have been living like his authentic life as a woman, maybe in a healthy relationship, whatever. But and this is why
even
it's
if he
important.
decided, or even if he found that like, cool, do you know what, I actually am not trans, it wouldn't have been by default because he doesn't want to go to hell. It would have been, do you know what, like I've realized within myself, what I know within myself, that like this is not.
And he would know that he's at least a gay, at the very least a gay man, one, and he wouldn't be leading all these other poor folk astray. Like, are you kidding me? They're all kidding. Anyways, keep my mouth shut.
Boy, so we're at the 2009 Exodus conference. And so basically they just kind of skim over this bit. I kind of missed it the first time I watched it, but basically there's like clinical psychologists. There's one in particular, I didn't write his name down, he's a dickhead. And he basically says that homosexuality can be cured through therapy. And one of the talking heads basically tells us that, like, it's kind of like a mutual business arrangement, because between like the psychologist and the church, because the psychologists would sell all their books about don't be gay anymore, blah, 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 and get a lot of clients from this conference with thousands and thousands of people. Basically get these clients saying, yeah, I'm going to help you to not be gay. And then the presence of the psychologist kind of like validates the church's teachings, like saying, hey, it's not just us that thinks this, actual scientists and psychologists think this. So it's like a symbiotic relationship, which is like deceiving the people. Like in all of this, the victims are the people who are attending these conferences, who attend these churches. Which is really like, it's really fucked when you think about it. It's like, rah, like, so not only are you ruining lives just for ruining lives' sake in the name of Christ, you're actually doing it for peace. Like,
because even if you were wavering on your support or your like feelings towards the church and thinking, okay, this church is chatting shit, like they're obviously like,
oh shit,
whatever.
I forgot to take the thing out the freezer. Oh, this man's gonna be so. Okay, I'm so sorry.
You don't live at home with your mum.
I know. No, I promised that I would take the thing out the one way out the freezer. And like it's been like an hour. Well, we'll have it tomorrow. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Go ahead, babes.
Yeah. So even if you're thinking, okay, like your support of the church or your like devotion to the church is wavering because you don't agree with what they're doing, blah blah blah. When you then come and see, oh, like not only are like Christian quacks telling you that like you cannot be gay, as in there's a way for you to change your sexuality. Licensed professionals who have no affiliation with the church also feel the same way. So it's almost like everything is telling you, like, okay, like for example, there's certain things the Bible, like the Bible says, oh, like don't have sex before marriage. Cool. So say I was like having loads of sex before marriage, and then the Bible's like church every day is telling me don't have sex before marriage, don't have sex before marriage. Then suddenly like medical professionals come out and say, actually don't have sex before marriage because like, you know, this isn't
you're
good.
gonna be infertile.
So for me, I'll feel like, oh my God, like not only is the church saying it, even if you want to like dismiss the church and be like, oh whatever, now like medical professionals are saying this shit, like I really need to close my legs to
like
married
you believe
men.
in something. So it's so manipulative.
Not that I sleep with married men, I just put the Real Housewives of Atlanta joke
close your legs to marry men. Close your legs to marry men.
Oh God, this is crazy.
It's really crazy. It really is. So I don't like this bit, but trigger warning. Julie, remember, is the lesbian who was in Living Hope / Exodus from 16 to 25. She's engaged to a woman. So there's this bit where we see her speaking at a conference, and she did this often. She was kind of like being groomed to be like, you know, the next like Hillsong pastor or whatever of the church. It was a very Hillsong vibe. Not like Hillsong is Exodus, but in terms of like big conferences and loads of people coming on stage and whatever and wearing jeans. So she tells us
not the jeans,
not the bang. So she tells us today that in college she was sexually assaulted. And she shares this with Ricky and the people in Living Hope. And like, basically she has to kind of report everything to Ricky. That's just kind of the rules. Like whatever happens, she has to report it to him. So she does. And Ricky's kind of like, oh, like you should incorporate this in your talk or your testimony when you speak at Exodus. And Julie's kind of like, yeah, I hear you, but like, no, because this is me, innit? Like, this is something that happened to me. I don't want to tell this story. I don't think that takes away from my testimony, and I'm not ready to do that. And he's basically saying that, well, if you leave that part out, it kind of takes away the power from your testimony, which is just like a really fucked up thing to say. And it's like, why are you so adamant on like re-victimizing her and making her like relive her trauma? Like, I don't know. It's just really weird. And like, she doesn't want to do it. Of course she doesn't want to do it. Bring it up in front of thousands of people. And yeah, she doesn't want to do it. But the next time she tells the story, and like, bearing in mind we see this footage, right? She mentions it. So she tells the story, and you can just see how like uncomfortable she is. Like, literally, I was watching it and I was just like, oh, like,
I felt so bad.
I felt so bad for her. You can tell that, and she tries to kind of get past it, and she gets past it, and you can tell she never really recovers from it. Like, it's just annoying, because what Ricky is trying to do is spread this narrative that because this abuse happened, it led her further to being a lesbian. And I don't think they understand, like, that's not how it works. And also, this happened when she was in college. She'd been a lesbian. She came out at age 16. Yeah. So it's like he's trying to finally be like, okay, well, this abuse happened. Like I said, abuse is the reason or whatever. And we later find out that, like, she starts self-harming as a result of, like, hating herself, because the church basically made her feel like she should hate herself because she was lesbian.
So like this documentary, like, jumps back and forth, and it's fine. Like, when you watch it, it makes sense. But yeah, so it goes back to Cam, aka Jeffrey.
Okay, Jeffrey.
I started just calling him Cam, in my notes. But yeah, it goes back to Cam. And basically, he has this, like, conversion LGBTQ Bible study. So it's like all these ex, or trying to be ex, LGBTQ people have, like, this Bible study. It's really weird. They start, like, singing and stomping and all whatnot.
I'm not even stomping in time. The woman that was trying to pray and stomp at the same time, and she couldn't do it.
She was off rhythm, off her own rhythm. How can you create the rhythm and you're still off? Like, those people are amazing. You are the one that created the rhythm. Follow what you're creating.
And you cannot keep.
And you still cannot. That is the main issue here, not your sexuality.
Anyways. Pray for that.
So they have this, like, weird, like, thing. And basically, I feel convinced that, like, when the cameras aren't there, this is just an orgy. The only thing that made me think it's not an orgy...
No, there were kids there. What are you talking about?
But I don't know if the kids are always there. And also, what the fuck are kids doing there? Because these kids were, like, way too young to be converting from anything. They look like they were 5, 6.
Yeah, but I do think it was kind of like a Bible study, because when I was a kid, I would go to Bible studies as well.
Yeah, I'd go to Bible study too, but they were all, like, clearly on the journey of conversion.
I think it wasn't that they were trying to be converted. It was that we were gay, we're not gay anymore, and this is our church where we can feel okay.
I shall believe that when the cameras aren't there, this is an orgy minus the kids. That's my own. I just wanted to drop my own tidbit. Y'all watch it and see what you think. I saw some George Michael earrings up in there or whatnot, and I'm sure I saw some leather. But
stop it.
Y'all be safe though. Watch it.
I'm tired of you. John Pork is back, and he's still gay. His wife...
He's still gay!
His wife would catch him watching gay porn. And his wife is kind of like, fam, why can't you just stop, right? And this is why I think that she's probably bi, because she's trying to make it like it's so easy.
Yeah, I think she's
And it may have been easier for her because she was attracted to him because he's a man. But maybe I don't know. But
I don't mean like she's not attracted to men. I just mean like the state he was in before.
Yeah. But anything to, like, not be gay, right? In fact, that even proves that she's a lesbian for true and true, because no self-respecting women attracted to men would have been attracted to him as he was at that time.
Fam.
If she liked him now, that would make some sense. But back then, I don't know. I don't
it's
see
a no
it for
from me,
for
dog.
everyone. Literally. So he was saying that he basically was like had this internal conflict, because he was saying it was getting worse as he was getting older. Like, he just wanted to love and be loved by a man, right?
I honestly wonder what that feels like. But no, I know what it feels like because, but I was gonna say some wild shit, but this ain't that kind of pod.
I think it just, like, this inner turmoil, right? I feel like this is literally enough to push you off a cliff, quite literally. Like,
yeah.
Because it's like, you can't, like, okay, so for example, if I'm at work, if I'm around people that I don't really know, like, I have to make sure my social battery is on 100. And, like, I can have the mask on and smile and laugh and haha, hee hee, blah, blah, blah. As soon as I get into my car or as soon as I get home, I can drop the mask. I can inhale, exhale, and I can breathe, right? And I can just be me. Do you know what I mean? I can come home and I can just be me, say what I want, live my life kind of thing. But to not be able to ever exhale because you are always like him exhaling is him watching his gay porn, and he can't even do that at home because his ex-lesbian wife is like, bro, what you on? What you doing? So there's nowhere that you can go because the turmoil is within yourself. So everywhere you go, there's a problem, and now you are the face of this ex-gay movement. Like there's nowhere you can go where you can really truly be yourself. Like even if you're by yourself, like you cannot be your true self because you can't go out, you can't be with who you want to be with. That must be incredibly fucked. I cannot even begin to imagine, like, there's no, where's your peace? Like where's your actual peace? You have to sleep all the time because maybe then you might find some semblance of peace.
Literally, it's true.
Very crazy.
Sleep and you know when you sleep and your problems follow you to sleep, or like you sleep and you wake up.
That's
and
why you drink port.
Them.
You drink port before sleep because that one you don't even dream. You just can't out. You wake up this morning.
If I'm really going through it, like the troubles will be there. Or you nap thinking the problem will go away and the problem is still there. So the nap didn't really activate.
You have to go back to sleep. You go back to sleep until it's soft. So Jordan's kind of in a place where he's like, look, like I need to find a man that will love me because I will actually come and die. Like I will kill myself if I can't live my true life. And it makes sense because this is not a year of him abstaining or a year of him pretending. Like this is his whole adult life of him pretending he's not gay. So he tells us a story about him being in Washington, D.C. and he gets drunk. He goes into a gay bar and he gets caught slipping because obviously you're gay. You're not even just gay, like you're an ex-gay. You're famous
literally
ex-gay.
Like the antichrist of the gay community.
Literally. So he gets caught slipping. They take pictures of him, right? And what does he do? He lies and he says, "Oh, I didn't know it was a gay bar. I went there to use the toilet." I'm like,
but I could have even thought. Do you know what I was thinking? Why didn't you go and say you went there to preach to them,
to evangelize?
Fam,
right?
Isn't that a better thing? I would literally say I went there to evangelize. You would be like upheld.
They might still look at you sideways, but they might be like, you know what? I could buy it.
It makes you went there. You said you went to go to Twitter. This thing probably said like on the title, like I don't know, gays
within,
gays and gals. Like it literally said like this way to cock, and he was following the arrow,
and he went.
He said,
and you could actually be in any alleyway on either side of that bar. Like I'm just like, my brother, come on, like come. Anyway, because this happens, the ex-gay group, they drop him out, obviously, and his wife also drops him out. But I think this was probably the best thing that could have happened to him.
This is now, you know when like, they say God, like sometimes God tears things apart,
scatters everything
about to bring fam. This is the It
is because I don't think he ever would have left off his own volition. He probably would have just killed himself. And now it's like, do you know what? Like you didn't have to make the move to leave. Like they literally left you, dropped you out, and
so
it's like,
now
you know
have no choice but to be yourself.
Yeah. Literally, if you dust yourself off, you can try again with this life thing and just be who it is that God made you to be. So, this is really random, but there's also this like political element here. Random, but very important, I think, to discuss. So, this organization, this like Exodus vibe group people, they worked with politics to kind of halt the gay rights movement. So Exodus was involved in halting gay marriage. And do you remember episode 53, the outrage documentary that we did? Basically, these politicians were gay, but they went out and so they were passing legislation that hurt gay people. This is literally the same thing. Like, you guys are gay. You're convinced that you're ex-gay, anti-gay, no longer gay, whatever the fuck, and you are so, like, vehement in your feelings about not being gay that in order to prove your lack of gay, you're basically harming your fellow gays with legislation.
And it's not even similar. Like, it was the same administration because those a lot of the anti-gay rights that were passed or anti-gay legislation that was passed in that documentary which was during the Bush administration, and this also was during the Bush administration. It's weird because I know a lot of stuff. It's so bad. Like I was a kid when Bush was president, to be fair, but I always saw him as quite charismatic. I didn't think there was
You think he's a good person?
Yeah, like I knew.
And back then, like when you hear that someone's a Christian, like as a child, it's like, oh, he's a Christian, he's a good guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I knew he was Republican, so my parents would always talk about him like he's Republican, like because I'm from more of like, I guess not democratic, but my family's lean more towards like the Democrats. So I would hear them say, "Oh, he's a Republican." So I knew from a young age that being a Republican or having a Republican president wasn't like a good thing, but I didn't think he was a bad person. And I even remember sometimes I'd feel sorry for him because 9/11 happened during his administration, and I remember him coming on the TV and like giving these speeches of support. But it's so wild to me that all this shit happened when he was president and I had no clue. Like this was massive, the amount of like LGBT things that happened, and I just had no clue. Like I was a kid.
Even with Obama, so like in this case, they're talking about passing Proposition 8, right? They call it Prop 8, which defines marriage as between one man and one woman, right? And so we see Yvette Cantu Schneider, the ex-lesbian, making the one who was practicing lesbian back in the day. So she was making an argument against gay marriage in this throwback clip. And she uses what is called the slippery slope argument. And she's kind of saying like, so what, if a man can marry a man, what's next? Pedophiles can marry kids, mothers can marry sons. And obviously this is very ridiculous and it's a very stupid thing to compare. But in this present day clip, she's kind of admitting that like it was purposefully inflammatory so as to like scare people into being against the bill if they were on the fence, because it's kind of like, look, you allowed this one thing, who knows what else is going to happen. And in this situation with Prop 8, like the churches, Exodus, all them, man, like they really would push their congregations. We see clips of them pushing their congregation to vote for Prop 8. And Prop 8 passes. And it's like being in church and they're being like, hey, listen, we need to vote for Boris. Boris is a man of God. Boris wants what it is that we want, blah, blah, blah. And you have like these mega churches with thousands of people voting in the way that you want. And it's crazy to me because Obama was president when this Prop 8 thing happened. And it's like, yeah, okay, I wasn't a child when Obama was president. I was probably like a teenager or whatever. But like in your head, you just think, oh, first black president is great. But like this was a major thing that happened that was detrimental to the gays. And Obama was president when it happened.
But to be fair, there was nothing Obama could do to stop it. Like people voted.
I know, but it was under his, I mean, it happened, but it's like associated with him. Yeah.
Yeah, but he did quickly like nip that in the bud. It wasn't long after that like he legalized same-sex marriage.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
But also, another thing I wanted to say for people listening, because there will be people listening who actually agree with these arguments. We haven't had that like conversation as well. There are people who listen who are like, even if they're not Christians, they might just be homophobic, because those people exist too. So they're here for all the arguments. I just want to talk about, because this argument, I hear it a lot. Like, this isn't the first time I've heard this argument of like, cool, if it's gay marriage, next thing is pedophiles, and why can't, if a man says that he wants to marry like a 10-year-old girl, what's the problem? I want to emphasize the problem with, and this shouldn't be a comparison, but let's just have this discussion.
Yeah, because people love to bring it up.
Pedophiles are having sex with kids who cannot consent to their sexual
relationship. So they are essentially raping them.
They are raping them. They are not damaging these children, but they are hurting and emotionally abusing these children. These children have scars they have to deal with for the rest of their lives. Having sex with your child or with your relative is harmful. You are going to have kids who could have genetic defaults, which shows you that it's not something that should be done. Two adults who are adults and consent and want to have sex are not harming anybody. You are bothered because you are a fucking idiot. It's nothing to do with that. It's not harming people. You can't compare. It's not damaging society. Trust me. If it's Nick Cannon alone, there are enough people in this world making babies. We are not going to be extinct. There are enough men to go around. There are enough women to go around. The human if anything, we need to downsize on the human population. So please, like.
And the thing is, I feel like the emphasis is always placed on the sex, having sex with. Like, if two men decide they want to marry each other and they abstain, they're not going to have sex. Are you okay with that then? If two men love each other, one another, and they're not having sex, they're not intimate, no one's sucking anyone's dick, no one's doing anything, are you then okay with that? Because if that's the case, then what is your problem?
But I just think it's because people are extremely perverted. That's why they emphasize so much on like, oh, it's sodomy, it's this, it's that, it's anus, bumping coochies. scissoring.
Because if a straight couple then decide to do anal sex, then what? So that's okay with you. That's fine.
People are perverted. That's why the obsession is on like two men should not lay together. Like what is your fucking business? Like, oh God.
I remember there's one guy that I used to watch on YouTube, yeah. And he used to do like, when I used to watch like reviews and stuff, and he's gay, and he was kind of like, look, like people love to come at me about being gay, blah, 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 especially within the church. And it's like, I am celibate. Like I'm not sleeping with men. I just love men, and like the men that I'm with, I'm in relationships with, and I'm not sleeping with them. So if your emphasis is, oh, do not lay with another man, do not lay with another man, are you then telling me that it's cool for me to love this man and be in a relationship with him, but is the sex the sin then?
Is he Christian?
Or is it how I feel? Yeah. I mean, he was at that point. This was years ago. So yeah, so it's just kind of like, listen, what is your problem? Like, what is it that you find problem with or take issue with?
Yeah,
bruh. But yeah, so Yvette tells us about how she kind of started having panic attacks before every ex-gay event that she would have to speak at. And like, she's kind of confused about this. And I'm like, sis, your body is rejecting your morals. So she sees a therapist, and the therapist tells her that the signs that she is exhibiting are very like indicative of PTSD. And this kind of makes her change. Like, it kind of makes her be like, rah, I'm a bit fucked. And she kind of accepts that she's bisexual. She's married to a man, but she accepts that she is attracted to both. Right?
I definitely feel like Yvette, when she had that breakthrough, like, oh, I'm bi, like, she definitely had her, like, hall pass for a bit.
Yeah, she went back to practicing.
Yeah, I think she went to bump a few coochies. Then she was like, "Okay, cool, I got it out. Like, not got it out, but now, like, I've made up for lost time."
Do you remember when we did that swingers episode? One of them, yeah. And it was like the woman was bisexual, and I'm like, okay, so when you're in a committed relationship, obviously you're in a committed relationship, right? But if I'm bisexual and I'm in a committed relationship with a man, that man is not going to give me what women can give me. So is it then like, can you then be like, right, cool, listen, I just need to dip out a little bit, or is it that you just remain? I mean, obviously you're going to be in a committed relationship, but it must be different. I mean, I guess it must be different.
But it's different. But I also used to think like that. But then I equated it to the heterosexual relationship, which is similar in principle. It's like, okay, you're with a partner. The sex you have with John Doe is not the same sex you had with James Doe, right?
Of course,
it's different. So
it is different. But I get that. But I think that's simplistic because it's a dick is a dick is a dick. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know.
Having woman is going to be a
but
very different
experience. But it's about you loving that partner and wanting to be
of course, which I guess is why you wouldn't go ahead and do it.
Right. Exactly. It doesn't mean that you don't crave
does the desire leave you.
No. Of course, you like,
because even as a straight woman, you might see a guy and be like, "Oh, I'm nothing." But obviously, you're in your relationship, so you're not going to
exactly. And you might have a man. Your husband may be more inclined to be, I don't know, rough in bed, and you just want that one sensual night that some guy 3 years ago gave you. You're still going to crave it. And if you see a guy that you think could give you the sensual love, and you'll still crave it, but you're not going to do anything. I get you. Yeah.
I do think it's a bit different, but I get you.
I always equate it to the same kind of conversation. It's just that you think it's such a big thing because the tools are different. But
yeah. And it's true, and it's not to say that bisexual people are less likely to be faithful because they're also attracted to other.
The only reason I thought she went and got her hall pass is because she missed out on a lot of good fucking years, not because she's bi. She was in denial for a lot of years where she could have been bumping coochie. So I think
she decided not to.
Exactly, I think she went and bumped some coochie because she missed out on it, and then she came back. She was like, "Yeah, cool, I'm alright."
So Bussy is back. Michael Buss it baby. So now he helps people who survived Exodus. This guy's just making money either which way, either side of the coin. This man is making money.
He's like, oh, this coin drying up, I'ma flip it.
Literally flip that coin, make that money. So him and some of the ex-survivors have a therapy session on camera. Everyone is basically saying that this group made me hate myself, and it's really devastating. And Judy is there as well. And Judy kind of says that she started to identify more with these survivors than with the group that she was a part of. And that's kind of what made her leave. So thank the Lord, 2013, Exodus closes its doors. So it was started in 1976 and it ended in 2013. Like, imagine how many lives that it potentially destroyed.
Yeah.
However, they just pivot and become the Restored Hope Network.
Which is run by none other than George Michael,
Ricky.
a.k.a. John whatever's wife.
No, it's Ricky Gillette.
Ex-wife. Well, okay, not run by, but she's part of it.
And Polk.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the Bad Vibes one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So documentary is coming to an end. Julie's still a Christian, which is amazing to me. And she's like at a church where she kind of feels welcomed and wanted, and it's great. Yvette makes a point that... loads of leaders, like loads of the older leaders of this movement have defected and kind of like come to terms with their gay selves, but new people take up the torch every day. And like while she's saying this, they cut to Jeffrey. Yeah, they cut to Cam, and it's like the shade. And he's at this march. Do you want to get into the march? Because I skipped that past it.
He's at this march where it's also like the same kind of orgy kind of people vibe. And basically he's just saying that their
not an orgy because they're gay.
It's just, he's basically saying their ministry is so different because they go to the streets and they do work and they don't stand behind a pulpit. And it's just like, but you're still preaching the same preach. Like, you're still telling people all the nonsense you're telling. So it's just that you're doing it in a different way. Instead of floppy disk, you're a USB. That's literally, you literally think that, you're young and fun because you're in the street marching or whatever. And it's kind of like, I think it's very disrespectful because the colours they use are very LGBT. Like, the similar colours they use for this. Mm-hmm. It's like, don't go and use like rainbow, the like LGBT
exactly.
rainbow.
Don't
bastardize it. Like, you know why that symbol exists. It's there for a reason. This is a symbol like that people have used to overcome oppression, all sorts. And you're going to go and use it to like do the opposite. Like, are you dumb? Bitches, you dumb? So yeah. And like literally, if you saw them marching, you would think they were like a pro LGBT.
Yeah,
like,
you might
church.
Feel safe enough to kind of approach.
If it was me and I was gay and I saw them, like, oh my peoples, you're Christians and you LGBT, yes. Not knowing that they are the complete opposite.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of regret expressed by these ex-leaders, and I kind of get it. Like, obviously, you look back at what you did, you feel kind of shitty, you cost people their lives, but you did what you did, and you just have to kind of go to bed with that every night.
Yeah. And my favourite thing... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, my favourite thing about this documentary, where there were two people, so there was Judy and there was another gentleman who I forgot to write his name. They both are still Christians, and... I didn't know how to articulate this for a long time until Billy Porter came on. There was an interview he was doing. I think it was with Oprah's girlfriend, Gail, yeah. Apparently they bump coochies too. I don't know if this...
No, fair.
Yeah.
Who else is as successful as them anyway?
So, but basically he said something about like what he's overcome by, and then Gail was like, oh, look at you, and he was like, no, look at God. Like, the first thing they rob you of, like when you come out as gay, is your religion. And he was like, never take it away from God, because I am what God has created. I am his image. And that made me so happy, not because everybody has to be Christian or whatever, but whether you're Christian, like I follow this other guy that's LGBT on my timeline, and he's Muslim, and whenever I see him tweet, I can't remember that. I don't know how to pronounce that word. They, like, Muslim people say, I don't know.
Allah Akbar.
No, not Allah Akbar. Like, Alum something. It's a word. I'm really sorry. Like, forgive me. But yeah, whenever I see him tweet that stuff like that or stuff to do with Allah, I'm so happy, because I'm like, like, you should not feel like because you're gay, God doesn't love you. You should still practice your faith. You should still feel comfortable. You should still know that you are loved and highly favoured, and the same blessings God is going to like impact on heterosexual people, he's going to impact, like, it's not nothing
like he doesn't
changes.
Love you any less. That's literally the teachings.
Julie was up in church praying, preaching, having her LGBT prayer session. She got married in a church, and I was like, this is so beautiful. Like, I'm so happy.
And it's like the fact
her.
that the church is the church that like kind of fucked her. She really could have been like, nope, what is a God?
Fuck
nope,
shit.
Jesus who? Yeah.
And she said that she was able to, like, what helped her was being able to detach the church from Jesus, and knowing that those people in the church were not doing God's work. They were doing their own work for their own selfish reasons. And I literally just implore anybody who has that uncertainty or whatever, or feels that way, know that like God and Jesus, I'm not a preacher, but they love you abundantly, and whatever you feel like you're getting from Christians that doesn't reflect that, it's not a reflection of God's sentiment. It's Christians, like, it's
and
different.
This is the thing, it's human beings, and whether you're gay, whether you're straight, whether you wear mini skirts, whether you have tattoos, like even going to churches with like Nigerians, a lot of that is culture and not Christ. Like a lot of that is like them being like, okay, you need to wear this hat, your skirt needs to be here, you need to this, you need to that. Like a lot of that is not about Jesus. Like they'll make you feel away or make you feel shit because of your hair is dyed, or because you have a tattoo, or because
I've already been told that people
have
already been saying, oh, like, you know, the dress you wear to your wedding is before God, and I'm like, sis, take
Shut
50 million
up.
seats.
God gave me
my
these titties
all out. You can have a conversation with my husband, okay?
Right.
Like,
well, chat to your God. Chat to your God. Let him rain down thunder if it really is that deep to him.
Chat to Sky.
Get out of here. Me. Once you separate Christ from the church, like you literally will understand that, like, yeah, mate, it's not always it. Yeah. But yeah, it ends at Julie's wedding, which is really, really cute. And one of the talking heads says, as long as there's homophobia, there will be some sort of, or some form of exodus group, because ultimately it's the belief that being gay is intrinsically bad that is the problem. And I agree with all of that. Yeah. Now it ends with on-screen text. Approximately 700,000 people have gone through a form of conversion therapy in the US alone, which is wild.
That is crazy.
It means there's that many gay people in the world. Like, you people think that, oh, just gay is rare. I'm sure every single person in their family has at least one gay.
I'm sure I have like closeted gays.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know any out in my family, but I'm sure there's some, because it's just that 700,000 in America alone are gay and wanted to seek conversion for that. Crazy. So a national survey found that LGBTQ youth who experienced conversion therapy were more than twice as likely to attempt suicide, which is unsurprising but also very wild. And then Ricky Shillette and Anna Polk deny interview requests. Of course, they fucking do.
Yeah.
And the last bit is really, really touching. It says, this film is dedicated to those who survived conversion therapy, and especially those who didn't. And then it lists websites for resources. So the first one is www.wannatalkaboutit.com. So wanna. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. WANNA. That was not related whatsoever. I just wanted to sing the song. And then the second one is prayawayfilm.com. Yeah. So, yeah, if you want to go to any of those websites, then you should. But yeah, that was a documentary, and it was a really good one. And I think it was very necessary, and I'm glad that we did it.
Make sure you guys watch it, because although we did an amazing job, I still think it's worth the watch.
Definitely worth the watch. Definitely worth the watch. But yeah, and also a very good documentary. What are we doing next?
What's it called?
I'm going to tell you, because sis doesn't know. It's called Tell Me Who I Am.
Okay, yeah. Shit.
Tell Me Who I Am. It's an amazing Netflix documentary. Yeah. It is fucked.
We watched it ages ago before.
Yeah. Like literally like maybe 2019, I want to say.
No, it was before we started the pod.
Yeah, we started the pod in 2020.
Oh, seems like a lot longer than that. In a good way.
Yeah, but 2020, yeah.
Yeah,
because this year has been like ages.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good documentary. I would probably watch it first. Like, if you can watch it between now and next week, I would watch it.
No, I don't want them to. Because I want them to be like, when we...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Watch it after.
Okay, don't watch it. Watch it after, then fine. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, watch it after. See, no homework for you this week. Well, hey.
Yay! All right, guys. That's us. That's us.
I feel like this is like, we've given you a really good episode today, guys. Like, thanks for bearing with us. But we back, baby.
Yeah.
Where can you find us? Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. 2 Girls 1 Doc. That's number 2 girls, number 1 Doc. There's an underscore somewhere on TikTok, but we haven't really posted on there, so don't really waste your time.
Pending.
Where can they find you?
Twitter and Instagram, 4 ends with 2 underscores, and my other podcast, Character Replay.
And at the end of the aisle.
Ooh.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you.
They can't find you,
guys.
Twitter. At
don't
least.
look for me, please. Don't look for me.
Okay.
I'm lost.
She lost.
But you can go on BDOneyewear.com.
Yeah.
For all the people who've sent me their eyewear surveys, I promise I will get to them. I just have not really been it right now. But I'll get to them, I promise. All right, boys and girls. We'll see you next week. Well, you will hear us next week, more like.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
I remember opening my eyes and looking around the room. I instantly recognised my twin brother, and I just said, "Hello, Marcus." But it started to dawn on me that I didn't know where I was, I didn't know what happened to me, I didn't even know my own name. Everything had gone. There was so much to learn. If he hadn't known who I was, then he would have been all alone in the world. But he wasn't alone in the world, he had me. I I started piecing things together. He would give me a photo and I would construct a memory around that, and life seemed good. Privileged family, normal parents. He painted an idyllic picture. But I was never questioning anything. I had no reason to doubt it. I, from day one, painted a picture of a normal family, but none of that was true. It was a fantasy that I was creating for him. How could we have secrets? We don't have secrets. The one person that I absolutely trusted has betrayed me. I just cried and cried for days. I have been lying for 20 years. I was too much of a coward. I don't know who I am. My life is not real. My life is the one you gave me. I've never told a living soul about what happened. But we're here now. Here we are.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
Do it again. I think I did just as you were starting.
Okay. Also, is your phone on flight mode?
No, shit. No
Bitch!
one's calling me, to be fair. But yeah.
Bitch!
Okay, cool. Do you want to do another click?
No, it's fine. I can sing it from the beginning.